Welcome to another beautiful evening in France. So it's been a very hard month in January. In my last video I was on another planet, because I was actually on another planet. My body was here, but my spirit, my soul, my mind was elsewhere. And what's happened since then? Well, we got paid. But January was hard because no one had any money, no one was going out. It's like everyone had changed, everyone and everything had changed. It's all different. I'm normally a very social creature, but all of a sudden I feel different. It's almost like 2013 is different for me because I want to stay in all of a sudden. I'm happy. I'm just happy here in my room on my own listening to some music. I have a glass of very cheap French wine. And it just brings me joy. I cooked myself a very frugal meal, and I loved it. I loved it, even though I cooked it and it was terrible. I loved it, and I think it's because January put things into perspective for me. It sort of showed me how exhausting it was going out all the time, constantly being drunk, always eating nice things, and then all of a sudden January happened. New Year's Eve, Christmas, I had no money. For 3 weeks there, I couldn't even really eat. I was sort of like waiting till the neighbour threw shit out, and then I'd go into the bin and find it and fry it again. I was very hungry. But I have food again now. I have food, and more importantly, I have wine. I have access to wine. That was my brush with poverty. Normally, you know, I'm on holiday in some third world country and I see starving people and I sort of, haha, sucks to be them. It was kind of me, you know, walking around with nice headphones and iPhone but really being really fucking hungry. I would have dived into a bin to get half a sandwich. True story. So, what shall I talk about tonight? Romance. There's lots of things I can talk about. I could talk about the difference between getting a visa to go to Australia and getting a visa to just, steal food from bins in France. But I want to talk about romance. I want to talk about how that is different here. For me. So, always about me. This video is about me. There's a camera pointed at me. This is me. All about me. So, in Australia, my technique, what I did was, because I lived in Sydney, so you could still go to cafes and, there were still cafes open at 2 in the morning. So you'd start at 8 PM, pick a girl up for coffee. I'd pick her up from her house, drive back, drive to a nice cafe. We'd have coffee, and if it was going bad, I could say, "Oh, look, sweetheart, I gotta go. It was fun. Glad we had this talk. It was really good watching you flick your hair and pick your nose." If it's going well, then I can say, "Hey, you're hungry? Let's go, let's go." Because that's the date within a date. When you change the location and the setting of the date, you change the whole ambience. So we would go down the road to my favourite pizza place. Down there, we'd eat, she's happy, she's fed, then we go back to another cafe or a dessert bar. That exists, a dessert bar. Here in France, they call it a boulanger or something stupid. That's not a dessert bar, that's a mix between a bakery and this weird patisserie. I mean dessert bar, where you can order crepes and hot chocolate and real mocha. I mean real hot chocolate and real mocha. A caramel fucking mocha. This is, here in France it's just, a scoop of powder, hot water, boom. That's a hot chocolate. Get fucked. That's not a hot chocolate. The French cannot make coffee. They can't make hot chocolates. They think they're dessert fucking kings. They can't even make caramel mocha. Anyway, bring the girl back to the nice dessert cafe. It's really cool. She gets something sweet. We have a laugh. And by then it's usually like midnight. So, drive her home. I drive her home. I drop her off. Or drop her off. Keep this PC. Keep it PG. And that would work well. But here in France, it's totally different. First things first. You walk outside. It's fucking freezing. You can't keep a girl outside that long in this temperature. So go take her indoors, but you need to feed. You need to feed a girl. Bitches be hungry, okay? Hunger is discomfort. Discomfort is unhappiness. And then you're sitting in front of them, they're unhappy. You become the cause of their unhappiness. So, thou must feed the beast. And that means, like taking her somewhere nice, somewhere cool where she can have a light meal. In France, you got a choice between bread or restaurant. There's no fucking middle ground. And so you've got to do that at an hour when it's like, so it's, you know, you're having this dinner at 8 or 9, 10 p.m. You can't just fuck, the timing's all off. Timing's all off. So you go, and then like by the time you get to the bar, it's really late, and by 12, you know, by midnight, I'm tired. I don't want to listen to her talk about university. And meanwhile, I will have had paid for this, you know, restaurant feed. And then she's ordering €10 cocktails. Why? Why does it have to be this way? You know, and then the bar shuts at 1 a.m. So you get there, you have one drink, and you're kicked out into the cold. You can't go to a nice cafe because cafes shut at 6 fucking p.m. Lazy. And so I don't know how. This is why French guys are so like vexed by French girls, I think, just because there's just no way to romance them. There's no room for romance. French men go overseas and they've suddenly got all these things that, you know, around them. They can use the beach. They can use late night cafes. The bars are cheaper. There are the tools to romance. Romance as a verb. There are tools to romance. France has none. It's so hard. You can try, okay? You can try use aesthetics. So in Australia, we don't have amazing cathedrals. We don't have beautiful Renaissance squares or old medieval part of town. We don't have any of that. Problem is, if you're trying to date one of the locals, she walks past this shit every day. She's blasé. Okay, she knows it's there. She's seen it 100 times before. You can't really use that to impress her. So, when people say France is the most romantic country in the world, yeah, maybe it is if you're here with a foreigner, because it's certainly not very romantic for the French. And shit, I don't know. Look, maybe if you came here on a honeymoon or you came here with someone you were already in bed with, sure, then it'd be, you know, a nice romantic holiday. But if you live here, it's just cold and old. So, that's my spiel for tonight. Maybe next time I'll talk about how France hates migrants. Okay, good night.